let me be very, very clear. There was a heightened level of sensitivity because of what you just articulated. What you articulated is a feeling. I didn't say they were right.
No,
I said they decide what they want. So in other words, if you had people out there that, hold on, I'll let you talk. Now you got people out there that was gravitating to Larry Bird. We knew what that was about in the 80s. We didn't like it, but you had roads to climb. You had people alluding to that was what the case was with Caitlyn Clark.
This is where Stephen A. Smith's frustration hits its peak. Caitlyn Clark's meteoric rise to fame has sparked conversations across the sports world, but according to Stephen A., there's an underlying tension beneath the surface. While Clark's rookie season was undeniably impressive, Smith believes that the attention she's received has stirred feelings of resentment among those who've been part of the WNBA for years, especially Black athletes. In this video, we're unpacking why Stephen A. Smith is so furious and what his fiery take reveals about the state of women's basketball.
What has happened is that in America, you have somebody that's come along who, by the way, I'm going to go there, who happens to be white and brought a level of attention and allure to the sport it had not received before. And what we were seeing from an abundance of folks appeared to be resentment. Now, what y'all,
No.
I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
What some of y'all missed is somebody like me saying that resentment was justified.
Stephen A. doesn't sugarcoat it. He calls out the fact that Caitlyn Clark's rise to prominence in the WNBA has been tied not only to her talent, but also to her identity as a white athlete in a predominantly Black league.
You have somebody that's come along who, by the way, I'm going to go there, who happens to be white and brought a level of attention and allure to the sport it had not received before. And what we were seeing from an abundance of folks appeared to be resentment.
He draws parallels to historic moments in sports, such as the rivalry between Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, where Bird's presence brought mainstream attention to the NBA in ways that Black players like Magic had not been able to do alone.
As is historically the case, a lot of times there are Black folks that do a lot of great, great things. And the level of recognition that should come our way doesn't come our way. For example, let's bring up Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. As great as Magic Johnson was, Magic Johnson won a championship as a rookie. That brother played center. You know, in Game 6 when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar couldn't go. Yeah. And what did Michael Cooper say on the plane when they ultimately revealed it? He said, Magic Johnson said to the team, have no fear, the Magic Man is here, okay? And then went out and dropped 42 and 15 and won a championship, okay? But he still would not have been able to propel the league to new heights without the assistance of Larry Bird. And so you had an abundance of Black players back in the day that were like, well, damn, as great as Larry Bird ended up proving to be, there was still some resentment towards him because you felt like, yo, did it take that in order for Magic was doing it on his own? Magic's already a champion. Why it takes all of this in order to get the attention that we deserve?
While Smith acknowledges Clark's greatness, he makes it clear that the media's obsession with her comes at a cost. Players like Aja Wilson, Angel Reese, and Candace Parker have dominated the WNBA for years. Yet it wasn't until Clark's arrival that the league saw this massive surge in attention. This comparison hits at the heart of Stephen A.'s frustration. He sees Caitlyn Clark as playing the same role in the WNBA that Larry Bird played in the NBA, someone who brought in a new audience and helped elevate the sport to mainstream status.
I feel there were people in the WNBA that felt that way. I just didn't think it was wrong.
No, Stephen A.
I just did. I said some.
No. This is the issue that we had, right? There are preconceived.
The problem, as Stephen A. sees it, is that this attention should have come much earlier. The WNBA has been filled with talent for years, yet it took Clark's arrival for many fans and media outlets to finally pay attention. Here, Stephen A. points to the rich history of the WNBA, legends like Lisa Leslie, Diana Taurasi, and Sue Bird, who paved the way for the league's success, but didn't receive the same level of hype. Clark's impact, while undeniable, brings up a difficult question. Why did it take her to make people care? Stephen A. addresses the resentment he believes some WNBA players are feeling.
This is the issue that we had, right? There are preconceived notions on how the WNBA is that people had to be educated to as it is right now.
What do you mean how the WNBA is? Explain.
People perceive the WNBA to be a joke, but now we're seeing it's now a juggernaut in the sense that, hey, women should compete like this. On this very stage right here, we talked about how, hey, you said protect the golden goose. You said these words right here on First Take.
Did.
But that's not how athletes inherently are, right? We try to characterize 1 or 2 or 3 foul plays on all players, and that to me is out of pocket. That is out of line.
I agree with that.
So those preconceived notions on how women should compete are the issues, and that's why we today, Caitlyn Clark, the reason why she's successful is because she embraced the WNBA. She chose to come in. She had an option to go back to Iowa, and instead decided to, hey, I'm gonna go through this league because I want to be the best of the best, and she proved.
It's not that they don't respect Clark's game. They do. But there's frustration that the media and fans only seem to truly take notice when a young white player entered the scene. This resentment, Stephen A. argues, is justified. The WNBA's talent pool has been deep for years, but it's only now, with Caitlyn Clark in the spotlight, that the league is getting the attention it deserves. Before we continue with the video and my deeper dive into Stephen A. Smith's furious take, I want to ask for your help. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subs by the end of the year, so if you're enjoying this analysis, please consider subscribing to the channel. It would mean a lot. Now, let's jump back in. While Stephen A. acknowledges the frustrations, he also admits that Caitlyn Clark's arrival has had a positive effect on the league as a whole. She's brought attention not only to her own games, but to the WNBA in general, drawing in new viewers and putting the league in the spotlight.
The year of the super rooks, and we have an out-of-this-world rookie in Caitlyn Clark in which the rising tide lifts all boats.
Clark's impact has helped bring more fans to the game, benefiting the entire league, not just her own team. As Stephen A. points out, this is a key reason why her presence is both celebrated and resented at the same time. In the end, Stephen A. isn't attacking Caitlyn Clark herself. He respects her game and what she's done for women's basketball, but he's furious about the double standard that's been applied to the WNBA over the years. Players like Aja Wilson, Candace Parker, and Breanna Stewart have been putting in the work for years, yet they didn't get this kind of attention. Now that Caitlyn Clark is here, suddenly the world is paying attention.
I'm just reiterating my points because I think one of the things that needed to be mentioned was that even though Caitlyn Clark is new to this, and even though she has proven to be a potentially sensational player, the resentment that some, not most, not all, but they say some, those who squeak get the loud, I forgot the phrase, but that stuff that was going on was real. And you see it with some of her fans. You see it with a lot of people who were looking at the WNBA and using that as a means to castigate them.
His message is clear. The WNBA is full of talent, and it's time for everyone to recognize that it's not just about one player. The league as a whole deserves respect. So, what do you think? Do you agree with Stephen A. Smith's take on Caitlyn Clark's rise to fame? Is there a deeper issue in how we view athletes in the WNBA? Let me know in the comments below. And before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more in-depth WNBA reports like this one.